What's going on, Digital Wildcatters? Welcome to another week of BDE, Big Digital Energy. Let's get right into it.
Boom. All right, Collin, story number one, oil field service in hell. Collin, I've always said that oil field service is E&P on steroids. When E&P is doing well, oil field service through the roof, and vice versa. The past 18 months, oil field service has been in hell. I was reading a Tudor Pickering Holt report that said out of the 18 OFS companies in their coverage universe, 10 of them missed Q3 earnings. 4 of them were in line, but only 4 of them beat it. And expectations were pretty low. So that really sucks. That said, we've seen activity pop up. Moore's always gigging me, and Mark Rossano is always gigging me about the rig rates on Friday. So we've seen that pick up. And then Noble and Maersk merged to create a $3.4 billion drilling behemoth. Collin, what's going on in oil field service and particularly offshore?
Yeah, well, I think the intro to OFS hell is perfect introduction to anything OFS. When you come from OFS, like, so it's just like never a good time to be in OFS, whether you're a OFS hand or OFS company. But yeah, this big deal in the offshore drilling space is pretty interesting to me. So personal story, let's take it back to 2014. I was bullish on offshore drillers, and everyone on Twitter, all of these kids, all these damn millennials, like, buy the fucking dip. I'll tell you right now what happens when you buy the dip, and the dip doesn't ever come back up. So this is a
you
chart.
Buy the dip shit.
Yeah, you buy the dip shit. This is a chart from Transocean back in 2014 timeframe. I started buying it. I was really bullish on Transocean and offshore drillers. I started buying around $37, and you can see over the subsequent years, it goes down to $3. And guess what? I kept buying all the way down and bought the dip, and the dip just stayed there permanently. So offshore drillers, just been getting hammered since 2014 and really just haven't recovered. And, I got a funny story. I've told this on the internet a few times, but I also had stock in Hercules, which goes bankrupt. Okay. Funny thing is I was working as an OFS hand at the time. So I'm out on a Hercules rig. They filed for bankruptcy, and we're drilling a well for Energy 21, who just filed bankruptcy as well. And so for lunch, they were feeding us boiled turkey necks and peanuts. And I was just like, what the hell is going on out here? Like, that was how bad times were. And anyways, you start looking at, okay, we really never got out of that depression in the offshore drilling space. So it makes sense that you're starting to see this, not starting. I mean, we've been seeing this consolidation in the drilling space. So Noble Drilling actually filed for bankruptcy in 2020, reemerged out of bankruptcy, acquired Pacific Drilling earlier this year in March 2021. And then obviously we have this subsequent acquisition here with Maersk. And if you look at the stock chart for Noble, I mean, the market seems to be responding positively to all the moves that they're making. We're up almost 6.3% over the last 6 months. So something's working for Noble. It's better than being in bankruptcy. So
well, I mean, I'm hearing sentiment for international offshore is good, and at least the merger, obviously $125 million of synergies a year, big deal. But also, if you want to go deal with large international companies, you need to be bigger.
Yeah.
Scale matters.
Yeah. And I think, when people look at OFS, you're looking at your Halliburtons and Schlumbergers and those types, because people are bullish on the international stage. And so it's always going to be the big companies that are the winners there. So yeah, be interesting to see. I feel like I'm like kind of getting bullish offshore drillers, but I learned a hard lesson last time. So you got to keep me from doing it.
Hey, Collin, I used to always tell my investors, When you feel like giving me the money, don't. When you don't feel like giving me the money, go ahead and give me the money.
You gotta play opposite of your intuition. So anyways, let's get into our next story because we have some news over in the mineral space. All right, Chuck. Had two big deals announced this week in the mineral and royalty space, which tends to be, just kind of a boring space sometimes. Just I like to throw shots at the landman.
I was about to say.
So first, we had Brigham Minerals pay approximately $100 million for a package of 8,400 net acres in Weld County, Colorado, right in the heart of the DJ Basin. And second was Kimball Royalty Partners made a $57 million acquisition of Permian, Mid-Continent, and Haynesville properties. Nice little action going on in the mineral world. What's happening over there?
So when you look at the Brigham deal, this is the largest deal they've announced since they went public. And you do all your Minerals 101 stuff. You look and you see PDC, you see Chevron, Oxy being the underlying operators. They've got rigs going on it. You look at the Kimball package, it's about 39% Permian, 31% Mid-Con, and then 14% Haynesville. You know, the old school guy on his deathbed used to say to the family, whatever you do, don't sell the minerals, right? Companies would sell the minerals when they needed drilling dollars or something for an acquisition or whatever. Individuals actually would sell minerals more based on life events. And so kid goes off to college, I got to pay for college, I wrecked my truck, I got to get a new truck. There's also a whole element of mineral buyers and sellers that use minerals for a 1031 exchange. Like if you develop a real estate property, you sell it, you buy minerals because you do the 1031, you can defer the taxes. So where I'm going with all that is there really is a lot less beta at play in the mineral world with transactions. You know, you'd think oil's at 140, ought to sell my minerals, type stuff. Less of that than you really think. The one thing I'm hearing from mineral people out there is on these recent sales that are happening in the mineral space, sellers are actually saying energy transition's playing a part of it, i.e., we're not going to need oil and gas in 10 years. I better sell my minerals. And that's the first time I've heard that.
Oh, that's kind of crazy. So the mineral owners think that they're coming on the tail end of the oil and gas. And so they're like, hey, I better cash out while they're worth something.
Yeah. Which is interesting.
That's also interesting from a perspective of mineral buyers, these funds and other mineral buyers that are in the market, because for the past decade, it's really been a seller's market, and these guys have been cashing out. So now if they're coming and saying, "Oh, hey, we're in an energy transition, we need to liquidate," a little bit of leverage is going to shift over to the buyers.
Yeah, no, it will be interesting, but I'm a firm believer in what Charlie Munger says. We're going to use every single hydrocarbon on this planet before it's all said and done.
I agree.
All right. I hate to do this, but we shall. We got a new segment we're going to bring in this week. It's called Nailed It. All right. It was right here at this table just a week ago. Collin, you said something very perceptive. Let's go to the videotape so that we can give you your victory.
Who you are. Guy's a genius, right? I think that he's playing chess here with the feds. There's a lot of talk about unrealized gain taxes, and it's just the most bizarre and ludicrous, proposal out there, right? And Elon's saying, hey, look, guys, I don't take a cash salary. I don't have any bonuses. The only way that I can pay taxes on my unrealized gains is to sell stock. And guess what? If I sell stock in Tesla, it's going to take down the entire fucking market. So that's what I feel like he's doing. Is he's all
right, Collin, go ahead and gloat, my friend.
I want y'all to know how much it kills Chuck to let me take my victory lap on the show. So yeah, I mean, this is how I saw it. I saw that Elon, was not just having this surface level event where he's like, okay, I'm going to liquidate my stock and I'm going to use this poll as a catalyst for that. He's playing with the feds, and the guy has so much leverage, and he's just using it to toy with these guys. So let's look at what he said to Bernie Sanders a couple days ago. Was this yesterday? Yeah, yesterday. So Bernie Sanders tweets out, "We must demand that the extremely wealthy pay their fair share, period." Elon Musk replies, "I keep forgetting that you're still alive," which is funny. Like that was
that's a good
high
troll.
key burn. Yeah. Elon follows up and says, "Want me to sell more stock, burning? Just say the word." That's when I sent a screenshot to you. I was like, I fucking told you last week that that's what he was doing. He's playing with these guys. And, I think that the funniest part about this Bernie and Elon exchange is that there's this dichotomy between, there's a huge overlap between Elon fanboys and Bernie Sanders fanboys. And so now they're having to sit there and they're stressed out. Like I go and read the comments and they're like, "Hey, Elon, I love you, man, but Bernie's cool. I don't like this." And so all of these people on Twitter are having this kind of identity crisis.
It's mom and dad fighting at Thanksgiving.
Yeah, it is 100%. So, I don't think Elon stops here. I think I'm going to make another prediction here.
Let's do this.
AOC's next. He's coming after AOC.
He's coming after
AOC. So he's about to dunk on her sometime. We'll call it before the end of the year. I call an AOC dunk by
AOC dunk. I like
Elon.
it. I did see one thing on Twitter that actually was pretty good about this too. Elon Musk has always played the political win, sucked up to Obama, got his loans when Tesla needed the loans. I think it's pretty easy to see in the tea leaves. You've got 2022, the Republicans taking the House and the Senate back. Why not dunk on Bernie? I mean,
it's asymmetric right now. He has nothing to lose.
Exactly. All right. And what makes it even worse with our new segment, Nailed It, you get two. So I'll give you two props.
We had two victory laps. The second lap of the victory laps.
So, Collin, this morning it was announced that Royal Dutch Shell said adios to The Hague and they're going to move to London. I guess actually I should look up Dutch instead of speaking Spanish on adios. What's Dutch for screw you guys, I'm out of here. But anyway, and just to prove they weren't petty, they're going to go ahead and just drop Royal Dutch from their name and be known as Shell. Get rid of
the name too.
So, Collin, please gloat about the Shell call.
All right, let me pull up the tweet as the evidence. What was this? May 26th. I dropped the breaking news, which was satire at the time, but everything is based on an element of truth. I said breaking: Shell to move HQ to Texas. This was immediately following their court-ordered mandate that they had to cut emissions by 2030. And I was like, that's an easy problem to solve. You just move the HQ to a different country that's not going to put that mandate on you. So I think that they should have still moved to Houston, got out of Europe. But, we'll see how that plays out for them. I don't know if there's a massive benefit for them moving to London. I don't know what the thinking was behind that, but
they're Europeans. They couldn't go too far.
We're not going to Texas.
But, this does bring up a serious point, Collin, that we need to be thinking about. Nike, Microsoft, think the great American consumer companies. Can Nike really say, I don't like the regime in America, screw it, I'm moving? Probably not. I mean, they get enough haters because of Kaepernick, but they'd have haters if they did that and went anti-America. Oil and gas company, an oil barrel is an oil barrel is an oil barrel. There's no marketing there. And so it's going to be pretty easy for oil and gas companies to move wherever the hell they want. And governments need to recognize that.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think that that's always been something that's interesting about oil and gas, because at the end of the day, I saw the other day, Chevron did something, and one of the comments was like, "Oh, I guess I won't be buying my gasoline at their gas station anymore." I was like, that's not the way it works. I don't think Chevron gives a damn if you don't buy gas at their gas stations.
I won't be buying my ding dongs and Mountain Dew from their convenience store anymore.
All right, what do we got next, Chuck?
So, the underappreciated story of the week. Collin, this is a good one. I had Kathleen Kelly, the oil whisperer, on the podcast last week. And basically what she said was $100 oil by the end of the year, 4 million barrels will come online next year, mainly OPEC, Ghana, Brazil. 600,000 of those barrels come from the United States. We can all debate that number, but the 4 million barrels coming online takes oil down to 50 at the end of next year. But then she said after that, all bets are off. That is all the excess capacity in the world. And so anyway, there's been some commentary online. I've gotten some messages about that, whether people agree or disagree. I only saw this story one or two places this week, and I think it's kind of interesting and kind of telling. Saudi last month added 9 rigs to go up to 35 rigs. So if you think about it, that's a 25-ish%, 30% increase in their rig run. If you look, the whole Middle East has added 91 rigs over the last 6 months. And I realize we're from a very low base because we, in effect, all went to zero during quarantine. But that sure as hell doesn't sound like excess capacity to me. So I think this is something we need to be watching because if Kathleen's right about that, which she's pretty smart and she usually is right, I mean, 2023, all bets, 2024 and on, all bets could be off.
Yeah. And then we also had another story in there too, with E&Ps buying carbon credits. So Civitas, which Chuck and I, we talked before the show. Is that how you say their name? That's what it looks like, Civitas.
I'll say Civitas.
Civitas was buying up carbon credits. And, one, we got to talk about the branding. I just want to talk about this. I don't even give a shit about them buying the carbon credits. I just want to talk about their names because Civitas was it was the product of Bonanza Creek and Extraction merging, and you got Civitas. And someone has been going around the E&P world giving all of these E&Ps like pharmaceutical names.
Exactly.
And so the Civitas.
Can I get the top 10 rejected names by a biotech company, please?
Yeah, exactly.
Here's $100,000.
It's exactly what it sounds like. But anyways, they've been buying carbon credits to offset their emissions. You and I were talking about this a bit. I think it's a little, it's just it's a little funny. E&Ps buying offset carbon credits. It's like, I don't know. There's just the whole thing.
It's like Bacardi sponsoring the AA meeting.
Exactly.
Exactly. It's like really, and then I was thinking about this while you were just saying that. We probably ought to start a segment on the show of what is real and what's just a press release. And we'll do speed rounds, things like this. Is this real or is this a press release? Is there actually any
substance to it?
Yeah. I mean, carbon credits, and an oil and gas company's buying them. Talk about a circle.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm a big believer in any of the world solutions are going to become, they'll come from technological innovation. It's not going to come from financial engineering because this is what happens in a spreadsheet. You're like, oh shit, we're a green company because we're buying carbon offsets, we're trading them. So
Collin and I are announcing today that we will do the podcast, the BDE show, in the dark for the next 3 weeks to generate $1,200 million of carbon credits.
Digital Wildcatters needs to start buying offsets to, our memes are polluting the airwaves on Twitter. So we need to buy some offsets for that. But anyways, that's what we have for the week. We got one segment to end this show, the BDE salute. See who we're saluting this week. Okay, so salute out to the veterans, but I don't know if y'all caught that last picture. That was a picture of Jake Corley,
a young Jake Corley,
minus about 60 pounds. You might not have noticed him. that picture went by too fast. But shout out to the veterans, especially Jake.
Absolutely. I believe this in my heart of hearts. There has been no bigger advocate of peace, talking about taking down the Nazis, taking down the Japanese in World War II than the U.S. soldier, and what our veterans have done to provide the freedom that we all live in. we truly owe them a debt of gratitude.
Absolutely. All right, guys. This is the end of the show, man. 20 minutes. We cut it.
We cut it short
and sweet. But I think, just like the right
we
amount.
got to go hit Austin though for New Wave.
That's why we pre-recorded this show. First time pre-recording it. We love doing it live. But we're gonna be heading to Austin tomorrow, so we had to shoot it and get it done today on Monday. But next week we'll be back live Tuesday 10:30. Guys, get in here, join the chat, drop some comments, and we'll catch you then.